feel like everybody is in a talent war these days because you are competing against every other employer in the world every day, it seems like. So there's none of this sticking with a company for 20 years just because you feel you have no other options. All of our employees have other options. All of our employees get called by headhunters on a regular basis. In the old days of IDEO and of many consulting firms, what we used to do is the client would give us what they call a brief, which is the description of the problem that they want to work on. And we would kind of go in the back room. We would go away from the client, sometime for weeks or months at a time, and work on the brief, and then we'd present an answer, or maybe a range of answers. But the work was ours, and we were kind of sharing it with the client near the end or at milestones along the way. And now we think that's kind of an old-fashioned model, probably an outdated model, because in that model you have to then do the handoff to the client, and sometimes the DNA of the client organization rejects your idea because it's not culturally a fit with the client organization or something. Whereas what we do now is what we call radical collaboration, which is we work with the client through every step of the way, even when the process is messy. And so when you do it that way, one, the client has lots of input to the process, but two, there is no handoff at the end because the client owns the ideas. In fact, sometimes the client feels like they came up with the ideas, not us, and we don't care. We want to change the world a little bit, and if working closely with the client in this very close collaboration allows more of our ideas to get implemented and carried out in the world, then everybody's happy. So what we do at IDEO, and what we would recommend to lots of companies, is we have what we call global practices. So we're not tremendously hung up on geography. So if a client is in Chicago, or if a client is in Frankfurt, Germany, say, we don't feel we have to serve that client from the people who live within 100 kilometers of the client organization. We're trying to find the best in the world within our firm or even outside the firm to apply to that process. And so you take a kind of a global look at staffing project work. You know, this is the way that great movies work. You don't just say, well, who do we have in stock, right? We want to make the best film ever made. We don't say, well, I got 2 people, let's use one of them. You search the world and say, who could I possibly get? There's also the question, who could I possibly afford, right? But